Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. And in today's video, I want to talk to you about something that comes up for my private coaching clients and something that I receive a lot of DMs about, which is the fear of embracing your own beauty, particularly when you have had a long time over identifying as the ugly girl or the ugly duckling. So let's dig in, and I want to show you a picture of myself. If you watch the other video where I shared that montage of me on camera and how I've changed as I've gone on my feminine energy journey, you've seen this before, but this was me in 2020. And this video is still up on YouTube. You can go watch it. I was talking about healing from body dysmorphia. And I don't have body dysmorphia looking at this picture because I don't think there's anything wrong with me and just my physical features or my hair or whatever it is. It's the level of attention and care and attention to detail that I'm giving kind of my beauty that I have changed. So that's what I want to talk about today, how you there you've gotten to a point where you are no longer in a place where you're, super dysmorphic about your appearance, and it's not in a place where you need to seek a different kind of help, but you just know that you're holding back. You're a little bit sloppy. You're neglecting really putting the kind of effort into your appearance that you desire. Because one of the first questions that I ask my coaching clients is, tell me about the woman that you want to become. And I would say over 80% of them say that they want to be well put together. They want to be well put together. And so that is in reference to your appearance. They don't want to be as sloppy. A lot of them share with me, I am not quite sure how to do my makeup. I'm not, I never learn these things, or I feel ashamed, or whatever it is. But they know, again, they're not in like a place where they need to go and do a different type of counseling. They just, and in this picture, it's very similar. Number one, I didn't know. And number two, I was still on my healing journey. So I still had some blocks within me that I had to work out. But I wasn't in the place of my ED where I was so dysmorphic that I was saying like the worst possible things that you can imagine to myself. So I've been there. I've been at the extreme end where the things that I was saying to myself were so harmful and so negative that I don't even want to speak them out loud again. So that's not where I was mentally, but I just didn't know how to embrace. I didn't know how to embrace, and I was a little afraid of bringing it to the forefront. And let's talk about why, because that's where a lot of my clients are, and that's where a lot of my followers are. So, why are you afraid of actually taking the steps to be that well put together woman? Because this is, let's be honest, this is not well put together. Love her, love her. I think she's beautiful, but it's not well put together. So, number one of the reasons why you might be stalling or blocked from embracing your beauty or feeling fear is because you fear judgment or criticism from other people about your appearance, or for seeming vain. That seeming vain was something that I could really relate to. That's what stopped me a lot of times. And even, filming the video, I thought, I don't necessarily like the way this looks, but I want to get the message out, and the message is more important. And you know what I mean? You don't want other people to think that you care that much. You don't want to be called vain, and you don't want to be criticized and judged. But newsflash, you're going to be criticized and judged anyway, because a lot of people in the world are unhealthy. And people have different definitions of vanity. Some people might think that styling your hair or putting on a little bit of mascara is excessively vain. So you cannot take on other people's opinions about your life. If you get to a point where, you are neglecting people in your life and treating them poorly because you are so focused on your appearance, then you need to reevaluate. But I highly doubt that anybody in this community is going to reach that level. Seeming vain is actually not a crime, but you may have been convinced that it is one. So if that resonates with you, you need to learn how to let that go. And you have to let go of your own belief that it is vain. Don't worry about other people having that belief. You focus on whether or not you believe that. Do you believe it's vain? And learn to let it go. Low self-esteem, struggling with self-worth, and feeling undeserving of compliments or attention. Even if it's positive, even if it's genuine, you struggle with feeling undeserving. That's something you need to take a look at. That's going to take some reflection and unpacking. And you've got to let that go. You've got to let that go. It starts with changing the way that you speak about yourself and monitoring and practicing the way that you respond to those compliments and attention that you receive. But I know for sure that a woman is struggling with embracing her beauty and embracing her femininity when she's constantly rejecting compliments and attention. So number 3, cultural and societal norms. Modesty is valued over self-expression. You could have grown up in a culture where extreme modesty was the standard for women. And so any sort of, I know particularly if you grow up in a more Eastern culture, or I don't want to speak without researching, but I know for sure there are some trends in the West that don't necessarily go over so well in different cultures. And that's open to discussion because I think that being culturally sensitive and culturally inclusive is healthy. But if it's to the point where you are afraid of, you know what I mean, putting any energy and love and care and attention to yourself, then that needs to be re-examined. Only you know how true or important those cultural norms are that you grew up with and which ones you choose to still believe and adhere to. That's a personal decision that you have to make, but you could have grown up in that kind of conditioning where, hyper modesty is promoted. And so now you feel guilty and ashamed for doing something else. Past negative experiences, experiencing bullying, harassment, or negative comments can create a fear of drawing attention to oneself. That is a really big one. But as with everything, you have to learn how to let it go because it is in the past. And do you want to be trapped by the past and, continue to be under the control of that bully or whoever that person was? Or are you ready to start a new chapter? But that bullying, harassment, or negative comments, right? Maybe that created the belief or the label of the ugly girl or the ugly duckling, but you have to let those labels and words and comments stay with that person and recognize that that is their unhealthiness, that is their toxicity, and you no longer wish to give it power. But those past negative experiences can hold you back until you deal with them. Number 5, internalize beauty standards, believing they do not meet societal standards of beauty, and this can make it difficult to see their own beauty. This one, I hate this because I know it weighs really heavy on people. And it's easy to say, just reject the beauty standards because they're not real and it's all made up, but it can be really, really heavy. It can be really, really suffocating, and it can be very real. So let's be honest. The makeup industry is changing, but there are still cases of companies releasing products without inclusive shade ranges, as if to say, you have to be this color in order to enjoy this makeup. So it's very real. It's very, very real, but the point here is internalized. As difficult as it may be, you have to detach and not internalize toxic beauty standards and one note beauty standards, particularly Eurocentric beauty standards. And you have to learn the truth. You have to learn the truth. And you have to become self-validating, and you have to really work on understanding how these things came into existence and how flawed they are. Much easier said than done. And especially when it comes to Eurocentric beauty standards, I'm sure there are some other creators out there who have more to contribute on this topic than I do. So I'll share those when I come across them. Fear of change. Embracing beauty can lead to changes in how one is perceived and how they perceive themselves, which can be intimidating. So I think this one is really, really powerful because I've seen it and I went through it as well. Embracing beauty can lead to changes in how one is perceived and how they perceive themselves, which can be intimidating. Just the fact that it's going to be a lot different once you start making that effort and once you start embracing your beauty, it can be overwhelming. It can be intimidating. So you'd rather, even though you don't like it, you'd rather stay here because changing is just too much for you. You're going to have to develop a new self-concept. You have to stop relying on your ugly girl identity as an excuse now. Think of that. You have to stop perceiving yourself that way. And if you've gotten some kind of validation from it, you have to learn how to redefine how you validate yourself. So just that alone, the fear of change can be enough to make you fear embracing your own beauty. Association with superficiality, believing that appearance is shallow. I've gone through this. And my response is, okay. And is that even something that I want to spend my time debating? Believing that appearance is shallow. What you're doing is you're reducing anyone who is embracing their beauty or conventionally beautiful or attractive. You are reducing them to a stereotype, which is what we've done for so long. It's part of how we attack women and we devalue them. Oh, she wouldn't know because she's just a bimbo. All she cares about is looks. She can't be that smart. She can't be that good of a leader. She can't be a creative genius, whatever it is. Oh, it came easy to her because of her looks. You're devaluing that person. You're not seeing them as a person, you're just seeing them as their physical appearance. So if other people have conditioned you to feel that way and you're projecting that thought onto other people and yourself and fearing that embracing your beauty or focusing on your appearance means you're shallow, then you are upholding this belief that embracing your beauty or presenting as more well put together or beautiful automatically means that you don't have anything else going on in your personality, in your intellect, in your professional life, in your personal creative life, whatever it is. You are disregarding all of that. And that's not fair. That is not fair. So we're going to let that one go. If you associate it with superficiality, you are reducing somebody who is embracing their beauty and showcasing it. You are the one reducing it to that. They didn't do that. They're just living and enjoying their beauty. You are the one who decided to reduce them to just their appearance. You're the one who's shallow, basically. Okay? Comfort zone. Staying in a place of discomfort or self-criticism can feel safer than stepping into confidence and self-acceptance. Very much the same as fear of change. A lot of women stay in this comfort zone. So staying in the place of discomfort or self-criticism can feel safer than stepping into confidence and self-acceptance. And so this picture, I was not self-critical, not in a negative way. I recognized the places where I wanted to improve and I nurtured myself there. I was not in a super self-critical mindset here, but I have been in the past when it came to my appearance. But just comfort zone, right? These are generally people who are afraid to ask for help or take the necessary steps. So they're the type of person who's going to watch for years before they actually maybe sign up for class or book the thing, because they're just too uncomfortable. They're too uncomfortable with the process of change. And that's very restrictive. That's very restrictive. The next one is comparison to others. Constantly comparing yourself to others can diminish your own sense of beauty. This is very, very true. So if you're constantly comparing yourself to people that you think are more beautiful than you, first of all, more beautiful than you are diminishing your own sense of beauty because they can be beautiful and you can be beautiful too. See? They can be beautiful and you can be beautiful too. I love the beauty of women. I love seeing young women who are really thriving in their beauty and embracing it. I love to see that. It doesn't mean that I think I look just like them. I'm not 21 years old anymore. But it's not a competition. It's not a comparison. Focus on you and learn to appreciate and recognize other people's beauty without bringing yourself into it. Once again, if you're the type of person who believes that beauty is superficial and focusing on your appearance is shallow, then you might be the same type of person who looks at another woman and thinks, is she more beautiful than me? Am I more beautiful than her? constantly comparing, etc. Let that person live. Recognize them as a separate person from you. Whatever they may have done to enhance their beauty, whatever natural beauty they possess, has nothing to do with you. Especially if you're seeing them on a screen or you see them in passing, right? They don't even know you. Don't make their beauty about you. That's crossing a boundary. Just admire, just enjoy, and focus on you. Focus on you. Your own beauty does not change just because you see somebody else who's beautiful. Generally speaking, women who have this belief system are the same ones who say things like, oh, well, you wouldn't understand. You would never be treated that way because, and I've even had friends say things like, well, you know, you might not get treated a certain way by men because of how you look. Bad treatment can happen to anyone. Poor treatment can happen to anyone. It's not a guarantee that if you have beauty or you choose to embrace your beauty or enhance it, that you are going to, be immune to suffering in this life. Because tragedies happen to everyone. Okay? Toxic experiences can happen to anyone. So you've got to stop making another woman's beauty your business and focus on you and get rid of that misinformation. The last one, fear of unwanted attention, worrying about attracting unwanted attention or advances can make some women reluctant to highlight their beauty. This is very real. Once again, with all of these cultural and societal norms, I want to be sensitive and culturally inclusive in that way. Internalize beauty standards. I want to be, what's the word? Inclusive there as well, and honest. And with this one, fear of unwanted attention, worrying about attracting unwanted attention or advances, is very real. Very real. There's a good reason. There's a good reason you might fear unwanted attention. Okay. Violence against women is real. Eurocentric beauty standards are real, or unhealthy or idealized or whatever beauty standards are real. Differences in cultural norms are real. These are all very real things. But to the last one, to fear of unwanted attention, worry about attracting unwanted attention, I want to remind everyone that you can receive unwanted attention while rejecting your beauty. You can receive unwanted attention and advances no matter what. That's the reality. That's the reality. And I think that's important to acknowledge. So that is something that, again, if it's very real or you've had negative experiences that are super, super unsafe, I recommend that you go speak to a professional about that. That wouldn't be my area of expertise. I would love to talk to you after we reach a feeling of safety and we work through that. But yeah, unwanted attention, because I'm thinking of one particular case that I read about where a woman was jogging in, like, a dark sweatsuit type of thing at night. And so her full beauty was not on display and she was still attacked. So I know that's not a very uplifting, supportive example, but I just want to be direct. You can receive unwanted attention anyway. And so I suggest that, again, if it's very, very deep and in a place that's really affecting your nervous system and how you're operating in life, you go address that first. And then after that, I personally haven't experienced haven't necessarily experienced that, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. And the more I focus on my appearance and really putting myself together, the more I really protect myself through my boundaries and, limit my exposure. I went through worse experiences and situations, not necessarily in this picture, but before then, because I was not protecting myself. So there's a lot that I could say about that last point, but just know that the fear of unwanted attention, the worry, we want to recognize the reality, but we don't want to live there. We want to get to a point of stability and safety in our lives where we can embrace ourselves. So you may have related to several or, just one of these reasons, but I see far too many women in my private coaching practice and reading the DMs who are afraid of putting themselves first. They're afraid of people saying, "Who does she think she is?" And now when I hear that feedback and that question comes up, I get excited because you get to decide what that answer is. Who does she think she is? She is a woman who is well put together, who's classy, who's elegant, who is radiant, who's intelligent, who's smart, who's funny, who's curious, who's nurturing, who's intuitive, who's artistic, who's playful, who's sensual. You get to decide that. Don't let other people decide that for you. So think about all of the things that you could respond with when that question pops up in your mind. Who does she think she is? When I hear that question now, what comes across to me is you don't think you're worth spending time on. Because when I see a woman who is very beautiful and well put together, what goes through my mind is, wow, she really took her time with that. She really took her time with that. She really focused on every detail. She must really love herself. And it's not just the physical appearance, because a lot of people just do that and they don't have the inner confidence as well. I'm talking about the whole package. It's a pleasure to be around. It's a pleasure to be around a woman who takes really good care of herself. So I want you to think about these. I might do my next free masterclass on some sort of topic like this. Let me think about what I want to call it and how I want to describe it. But if you are feeling super masculine in the sense that you don't even know how to start embracing these things about yourself. You're worried you have mental blocks and somewhat of a know-how block, then I think I want to do that for my next masterclass. It just popped in my head. But I really want to talk about this because it's coming up a lot for my clients. It's coming up a lot in conversation in the DMs. And I know that so many of you want to move on from that era of yourself. I absolutely love it. So if you want to move on from this version of yourself where you are feeling like there's something blocking you from embracing your beauty, whether it's your own fears, your own limiting beliefs, and kind of a combination of not really knowing what to do, then I would love to hear from you. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I was on live quite a long time on Instagram today, so I'm feeling that my voice is getting a little tired. So I'm going to wrap this up. But as a reminder, I do have a masterclass on Sunday that is movement based. And that can really help with your self-perception and your body image. So if you want to feel more beautiful, if you want to feel more feminine, more embodied, more graceful, more sensual, definitely come to that class. That's going to help you with kind of the movement and energetic piece that goes with the rest of your appearance. Because the reason why, again, the Masculina Boss Babe exists is because a lot of times she's doing all of the beauty things, but her physical energy doesn't necessarily match. She's very rushed, kind of domineering in her energy, kind of leaning forward, taking charge, head forward, living in her head. And so the movement that I like to teach is kind of the beauty in the movement. It's the same way I would do this little flick of eyeliner or how I apply my blush. It's the same thing to me. It's the same reason I plant flowers in my garden, why I like to have my house a certain way, which by the way, it's going to be kind of changing back here as now what we're going to see from me, those of you who have been following along, we've graduated from this. And now I'm still working on, my own self-development and how I put myself together, because I was the hand-me-down girl. I was the, no, I don't need it. Or I would never spend that much time on makeup. I was the cool girl, the tough girl, the traumatized girl, the ED girl. Look, I feel like I've tested them all, so I can be here to tell you that none of them work. None of them work. Embrace your own beauty and start loving yourself. Let go of the cultural programming and come back to yourself. Come back to nature. Come back to your own beauty and really love on yourself. But in any case, you're going to see a transformation from me, because this space was my dedicated dance space when I had my teaching career, and now it's shifting over. I haven't gotten everything that I want yet because I'm very particular about what I want in my space now. And so I'd rather just wait until I can get the one that I actually want. But designing this space to me is no different than designing my wardrobe, picking out, you know what I mean? It's the beauty in the details of your life. I want to look in my space and see the beauty. I want to look into my reflection and see the beauty. I want to look outside and see the beauty in the flowers. I want to hear the birds and hear their beautiful sounds. I want to, you know what I mean? I want to be surrounded by beauty. And I have let go of this concept that beauty is wrong or vain or shameful or superficial, or you're only doing it to attract this attention. What I was saying on Instagram Live is that you have to become your own gaze. You have to become your own gaze. So I do this little eyeliner because I like it. I started wearing, Huggies or like little hoops because I like it. There's something about the aesthetic that I like. And so the beauty is no longer how I base my self-worth. It's how I want to exist in the world, you know? Because your appearance is going to change. Your appearance is going to change, but your love and appreciation for finding beauty in the details of your life and finding beauty in the details of your own movement and self-expression, that never changes. So that's what you need to tap into. You are your own gaze. You're doing it for your own pleasure, your own fulfillment. But if you want to learn how to become more beautiful in how you're moving, because that can be a really big help, trust me, that, in my opinion, is going to do more than starting with your makeup necessarily, or really focusing on just the superficial, because it's an energy. It's an energy, and it really helps you with your body confidence, in a way that other things just don't necessarily have the same effect. So that class is going to be Sunday, August 4th. You don't need to have any experience. It's very easy to follow. And then I think that's it. I thought I had something else to share, but I don't think that I do. So consider that class for August 4th. Oh, maybe the free masterclass. I'll think about exactly how I want to title it and phrase it to do kind of a masterclass that goes deeper onto this topic for those of you who have been feeling blocked and really desire to be that well put together woman. So, oops. Let me know. Got a little dry. I told you I've been talking too much. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And once again, thank you for subscribing. Make sure, if you are not subscribed, that you hit that button and that you hit the like button, and I will see you in the next video.